This is another question for all the candidates. Student safety has been a big issue on campus this year. What plans do you guys have to increase safety and safety education on campus?
I'm glad you asked that. So a big part of our campaign is to not reinvent the wheel. What has already been done in a past initiative when Jared Ikowicz was president was created a safety and transportation report. It was done along with a dining task force report, which I was a part of. What happened is there's this great report that has benchmarked all of our peer institutions, has given long-term solutions and short-term solutions in a prioritized manner, but it was dropped. It wasn't followed through on. So our first goal would be to follow through on the work that has already been done by the past executives, which is still very up to date. In addition, we would like to continue working with transportation, because given what is happening right now with the Port Authority, as well as what we've seen with the crime alerts around campus, transportation is a big issue. And by tackling transportation while also hitting the ground running with the report that has already been created, we can be proactive in areas that still need work, and also while we're implementing initiatives that have already been created and solved.
As well as the fact that we also like to say that the reason why we don't want to reinvent the wheel is because a lot of things have already been created and being implemented right now by housing and dining, such as they're creating a night guard system for all the dorms, so safety is being improved on this campus. And the reason why we want to work with this report is because it not only outlines things and it's not only prioritized, but it also gives costs, and it gives us a good idea of what is a quick fix and what can be a long-term fix. So that's why we're trying to use past initiatives, continuing past initiatives.
Kelsey and I both feel really strongly about campus safety, and I know Kelsey has been involved with being a resident assistant for 2 years, and I have seen tremendous amount, and so have you, while you've been here on campus, and that ranges from drinking to car accidents. And I think the most important part of what I can bring to the table is my involvement through the University Student Affairs Committee. And from what I've heard from the Dean, Dean Gina Castellano, and from just hearing about her interest in student safety, I think the important part to emphasize about our platform and about what we will do is creating the innovation chair. Because even though it is about working with the Greek communities and housing communities, it's also about creating preemptive solutions to that student groups see as possible safety measures. And so using that to also relay that to student government, and going forward and working backwards with the University Student Affairs Committee, I think sort of ties in how we will address safety.
All right, another question for all the candidates. Campus pride and community were subjects in both of your platforms. What ideas and initiatives do you guys have to accomplish these goals?
We're interested in continuing previous initiatives that involve student pride, such as the Tartan Rewards program. We think it's a really great program, and that maybe it just doesn't have enough emphasis on different activities that can support pride. Also, in unifying the student body, we're interested in, as we've mentioned, starting the Healthy Rewards program. This is a way to get people really interested in their health and therefore pride in themselves along with the student body.
We are very aware of how grueling the academic process is at this school. We know that the easiest way to get students to come out and come together is by providing very low committed events that are easy for them to attend at times that are best, so that they have the least stress. So we are trying to create this Friday Frenzy event next year. We're hoping to do either one Friday every month or a couple Fridays right before Carnival, kind of like a seasonal type of thing, where on Fridays, which is the time that I think most students don't stress about school because it's the end of the week, we want to create a free food, free games, fun and games event, which will bring people from all majors together, from all schools, from all different areas of campus to come out on the center of campus, enjoy what our campus has to offer. Obviously, free food is an incentive, but we want people to enjoy the games, a good social time, so people think, kind of lose that idea that the school is very academically oriented. We want them to realize that there's a lot that we can offer, as well as we want to create a culture diversity program, kind of an honors program, because we think that this campus has a lot to offer when it comes to diversity, and the administration is always trying to encourage that. So we think that the best way to go about that is kind of create another incentive program, but rather than making it a capital program, we think we would make it by giving, rather than do prizes, we think we would do a certificate type program. So we would award the students that would go to a certain number of diverse or cultural events that occur throughout the semester and receive points, and once those points were received over your time here, you would receive a graduation stole and a certificate for being a well-rounded student. As well as this, since Tartan Rewards has been implemented, this will be the first year that we actually get some data based on it. So we will be able to do a review of how effective it's been and how people have been utilizing it, and whether it's something we want to continue or improve, or if we want to revamp the system and try something different.
Thank you, candidates. I'm now going to start questions directed to individual candidates. This one is for Jacob and Sangita. As both of you had previously been involved in student government, what changes do you plan to make in student government reform?
Sorry, can you say that?
Sure. As both of you have previously been involved in student government, what changes do you plan to make with student government reform?
Well, first to clarify, I'm the only one that has student government involvement. My Sangita it just has a lot of campus experience, but has not been in student government. So we have both student government and non-student government on our team. Some changes that we would like to make would be, first of all, revamping how the board of directors is being utilized. I think that this is a great opportunity to be able to have communication between very important student leaders on campus, and it's very underutilized at the moment. I also think that the organization of the executive committee of student government needs to be reorganized on how the meetings are run. I'm currently sitting on that. And there's changes that I would like to make if student body president, because I would be the head of that committee, and making those meetings much more efficient and actually utilize the time so that we can work on solving initiatives while we're all sitting there and having those groups. In addition to looking more closely at the cabinet under the president and designing the roles built around our initiatives that we want to be able to implement, so that we can have more targeted individuals working on projects. And this also goes along with the changes that are being made right now in the student governing body documents, which a lot of those I am in support of. And so helping transition those, as a member of the executive committee, I will be able to help all the new executives come in and transition into these new positions and help them be able to do their roles as well.
This is for Turi and Kelsey. Without previous student government experience, what new perspectives do you plan to bring to student government?
Well, Mila, I would argue that we do have student government experience. I think we all do. I think that's part of being a student here at Carnegie Mellon, is being informed of what your student government is doing. And over the past few months that we've been running our campaign, we've been heavily involved with learning about what they've done this year and in previous years. So with that being said, I would say that our outside involvement in things like the tartan and being a writer, being a resident assistant, being involved in both Tri Delta and DTD fraternity would allow us the ability to learn a little bit about leadership skills, values, things outside of student government that I think hold true and should hold true to student government. And so I think, shown through our platform, we sort of live those ideals, and our experience is sort of living as a regular Carnegie Mellon student. We've been through it, we've stressed, we've been in your shoes in midterms and exams, and I think that's the sort of experience that you need going in as a president. You need to understand that, your fellow students want to be involved in student government, they want to be inspired. And I think that's how we're going to go forward with our experience. We're going to inspire students. Yep.
This is for Jake and Sangita. You mentioned in your platform an intense concern for student transportation. And with recent Port Authority cuts, what ideas do you plan to implement that will tend to the student body's dependence on city travel?
All right, I'll take that one again. I am currently on the Pittsburgh Student Government Council, which is there's a grad and undergrad representative, or ideally a grad and undergrad representative from schools in the Pittsburgh area and Peachy recognized schools. And with that, we are already proactively trying to lobby in Harrisburg to not have the cuts in the first place. So that's step one. We need to be working on trying to not have as many cuts. In addition, while we're lobbying, we will be able to start working on proactive solutions on the Carnegie Mellon end of how we can reevaluate our systems. And that is reevaluating the shuttles and reevaluating the escorts. Something that some of the changes that are listed on our platform, which we go into great detail on our website, is helping with the changing of GPSs into the routes so that you'll be able to look online and see where the buses are. And Chief Ogden's last report to Student Senate, that's something that he has realized that should be done and reinitiated, so we can help with that transition. We also want to look into trying to get more shuttles and something called the Tartan Taxi. This would be transportation that we would have hopefully a taxi be able to sit in the UC turnaround and be able to take students around the Pittsburgh area without having to wait a long time for the taxi to come pick them up. This has been implemented at other schools. We've researched into it. There's multiple ways we can do it. It can be done if enough funding can be found through actual Carnegie Mellon, they own the taxi, or partnership with other businesses. We have a lot of ideas. I would encourage you all to look on the website for this one because it's a very long solution. But those are some of the highlights of what we want to do.
Thank you. This is for Turi and Kelsey. In your platform, you've already mentioned health and fitness. What do you believe the executive branch can do to improve wellness on campus?
Well, I think wellness on campus not only deals with stress by working out or exercising or choosing healthier meals, but it also markets counseling and psychological services in a good way. And I think that's how student government, and at least our position as student body president and vice president, can sort of push forward with increasing student interest in seeking help and not waiting to the last minute to go see a counselor. And so our program, the Health Rewards program, will push forward not only for fitness and healthier choices for food, but also looking at increasing the image of CAPS so that way students feel comfortable early on when they're feeling that college stress to go and talk to a counselor. And also implementing our leadership sort of lecture series, and that will be geared towards getting students inspired to push forward and to have determination while they're here in their 4 years. And I think that's really important, and that goes along with wellness. And
in regards to wellness, providing education about how stress can be reduced through what we see as our plans for our healthy rewards plan. There's a lot of misconceptions about stress and how to deal with it, and that's something that we really want to address because that's a really big part of this school.
And also looking at wellness, something that I had heard from a fellow student about who studied abroad at Qatar's campus, and we thought that was very interesting, was they had reflection rooms. And thinking about opening space on campus during the winter time for students to go and take 5 minutes and to think about things other than school and other than their college life. And we thought that that was a very powerful move on the Qatar campus that we'd like to bring here.